Hi everyone, let's talk about Italy. Naples, with more than 6 million people, and many of them, hundreds of thousands, live on a volcano. Because it's not a stratovolcano like Vesuvius, it's relatively flat. It's a huge caldera volcano, super volcano Campi Flegrei, the burning fields, and it's rumbling. There's basically a non-stop rumbling. We'll get to the earthquakes and what does that mean, and is that dangerous? And study after study tells us that it is. And guys, let's not forget, we have 3 magma reservoirs confirmed underneath the burning fields, and this is right underneath the red zone where more than 500,000 people. Oh my God, I wish it were only 500 people. That would be an easy solution. No, more than 500,000 people in Pozzuoli especially live with this daily shaking, with their homes cracking on the verge of collapse, with the risk of higher magnitude earthquakes, and of course, a devastating volcanic eruption, phreatic eruption, or magmatic eruption. This thing is escalating towards higher levels. So 3 magma reservoirs. I think we should talk about this a little bit more in detail to understand what is going on in this pressure cooker of a volcano. And I would like you to look at this graphic because there you really see it. This has been found in a study, so this is confirmed. I'm not getting too deep into the study. I've made a video about the study as well. This study just came out this year, by the way, so it has looked into the deep structure of the plumbing system. They call this plumbing system in volcanoes. All these areas where we have magma accumulations, all these pathways to the surface. So they looked at earthquake data from 1982, where there was a phase of unrest, until 2022. And what I would like to see, extend this until now, because I don't want to say interesting, the really catastrophic years started in 2023, 24, when the earthquakes really got high in magnitudes over 4.4, and then this year 4.6, the highest ever since the last eruption. So this study had only these earthquake data available. That's already enough to show us what's going on down there. So with this study, they want to help to predict the evolution of this caldera's power system. And I've just reported about a video about Mount Etna, where the INGV, that is also surveilling Campi Flegrei, has found a way to learn what is going on in the deep magma reservoir, not in the more shallow ones, by looking at past earthquake recordings. So they really should do this at Campi Flegrei as well. So if you look at that graphic, it's based on a very innovative tomographic surface to determine the deep structure of the Campi Flegrei using data on the area's microseismicity. And the results have identified 3 main magma chambers. 3! As if one wasn't enough. So they're located at shallow depth. If you look at point A in this graphic, that is only 2.5 kilometers. That's roughly 1.7 miles. That is not far for the volcano to get something to the surface. Then point B, 3.5 kilometers, roughly 2.5 miles. And then point C, 5 kilometers, roughly 3.8 miles. That is still very shallow. That's point C. So this is probably an accumulation of overpressurized fluids. And they think that this is what's happening in the first 2, while the deeper reservoir is predominantly, and here it comes, magma. But again, overpressurized in the more shallow first ones. That's why so many are warning that we could see a phreatic eruption. And that's why so many people and studies are hinting at the last eruption at Monte Nuovo that started with only a phreatic eruption, but that was basically a blast that made way for the magma to come to the surface, right? It's like mining. Put some dynamite into the tunnel and then you get further ahead. So this is what these phreatic eruptions did in case of the Monte Nuovo eruption. So as these earthquakes continue at Campi Flegrei, they continue to increase in magnitudes and also in numbers, in concentrations. So hopefully this information and this study may help to monitor the evolution, the how can we say, the acceleration of the caldera's magma supply system. And again, extend that study at least, you have data from 23 and 24 and already 25, because that's where it gets really, really concerning. So tomographic technique, right? I mentioned that. So what is this? So they want to analyze the subsoil, and in simple words, what has been done is to relate the speed of the so-called P waves, the fastest ones during an earthquake, to the S waves, the second wave to arrive. And that is incapable of propagating in liquids. And if we look at that graph here that shows us the Brady seismic crisis from 1982 to 1984, Brady seism, land is rising, gas emissions, earthquakes, basically what we have now, but now it's way worse. And in the 1980s, we probably saw a magma intrusion. Magma was getting out of the magma chamber, trying to get somewhere, but didn't make it to the surface because the caprock layer was still strong enough. Now, the caprock layer that keeps the lid on, like the lid on the pressure cooker, has only a third of the 1980s strength left. That's not good. So their 4D data analysis, and you also see this in this graphic here, is considering both space and time. And it was noted that in both crises, in the 1980s and from 2005 till 2022, that's when they stopped using data for this new study. The new crisis started in 2005. So in both events, they recorded increases in the amount of magma at depth. These are the orange and brown areas in that graphic. And an increase in overpressurized gas in the central region. These are the yellow areas in that graphic. So by looking at this and understanding this could be key processes that explain the instability of the caldera. These are the words of the scientists. And they said the instability of Campi Flegrei that periodically affects the area. This is a nice word for like blows everything up, right? So the rising of fluids is of course responsible for these earthquakes. These are the red dots that you see. We're not there yet to predict anything with any accuracy. They still say, well, we know that we don't know, and this thing could blow at any time basically, or it could not. Well, let's look at the current earthquakes that are happening while we speak. And we just had a 2.5 yesterday, and then I saw the announcement of the mayor of Pozzuoli, 2.5. I'm like, why is he announcing this now? He already has announced it a few hours ago. And then I'm like, oh, there's another one on the same day. So October 18th, 1.1, 1.4, 1.5. On the 17th, 2.5, 1.2, 1.4. And go back that list. It's every day. And in between, there's like Vesuvius. Hey, I'm here as well. I've made a video that Vesuvius and Campi Flegrei might interact with each other in a way different way than we first thought. And that could also give us clues. That video is in the end screen. So guys, we will have to see that continues rumbling with the earthquakes in the higher magnitudes. And we have way more earthquakes than here on the list, because these are only the ones above magnitude 1. So we could see a bigger one again. And these homes are constantly being rattled. This could lead to absolute disaster. And of course, residents are saying, well, what's being done? Nothing, not much, right? I'll keep you updated, guys. Check out the videos in the end screen, but I have also a playlist for all the Campi Flegrei studies and everything that you need to know. If you want to fill me up with coffee, the link is in the description. Click the join button to become a supporting member. Thanks for your supers. Thanks for watching. Hype and subscribe and like and click here. I see you in a second.